Welcome back, everyone. It's it's a little chilly out there, but it's going to be another beautiful weekend out there and a great weekend to go home shopping. I have my next guest. He also has never been on my show. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to be sharing the show after the show. I have with me Brad Tate, and he's with Nexa Mortgage. Brad, you're a real estate mortgage advisor, I guess I should call you like that. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me today, Carol. I have about 15 plus years in the mortgage business in many different capacities, but I'm now working with a mortgage broker and proud to be doing that.
Well,
many reasons for that.
Tell me why.
First of all, I have more control over my loans for my borrowers. It also gives me the opportunity to continue to work to get them the best rates, the lowest fees, really work on their behalf as opposed to working on the behalf of one company that I work for.
Well, the rates are the lowest rates they are right now, don't you think?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are. Now, let me ask you a couple questions, okay? Do you have to have a large down payment to buy a home?
No, that is a common misconception, and I'm really confused as to why in all the years that continues to be there. People can get a loan for a home with down payment assistance, which in many cases can help them get in with a very small amount of money. Basically, maybe an appraisal, an inspection, and a little bit of the closing costs at the title company, but the rest of the down payment is covered for them. So, no, you do not need that large down payment to get into a home.
I'm going to ask this. Do you need to have your credit checked before?
Absolutely, and that is
before you get in the car. They don't want you in the car before you get your credit check.
Exactly. I like to say that the industry has done this wrong forever. They've always gone to the realtor, then they send them back to the loan officer, get pre-qualified, then go back to the realtor, get in the car. It is a great idea to plan, say 30 to 45 days before you're actually going to start the home buying process, to start the mortgage process. Check your credit, make sure everything's good there. If it needs to be fixed, if there's problems that need to be fixed, we can do it then and make it a much smoother transition and transaction all the way through the process.
Now, you work statewide and you do free consultations. Your phone number to call, it's 602-510-6297. It's Bradley Tate, mortgagelender.com. So you can check him out there. I think that the main thing to do is, we have a lot of people out there right now that are wondering if this is a good time to even buy.
I actually think it is the best time to buy. The only issue with that is that the demand for housing and the supply are not anywhere close. Supply is just not keeping up with this. So don't get disappointed if you go out and you get outbid. Just continue to try and get that home. They have said forever that the first step to building wealth is to be a homeowner and not paying somebody else's mortgage for them.
Well, do you have to have good credit in order to do it?
It's best if you have good credit, but no, I can help people all the way down to, well, actually below 580 is credit score, but I can get people financing for FHA financing with a 580 credit score or higher.
602-510-6297. It's Bradley Tate, mortgagelender.com. He does free consultations. It's a great idea to have a conversation with someone like him. Go out there and be looking, and it is a great time to buy. The rates have never been lower, so if you have great credit, it's unreal. But you know what? It's a reason to talk to you and find out what you can do to help them. Maybe there's just a few things they need to change to do, and then maybe it's not today, but maybe in a few months you're ready to buy.
Absolutely, and if it is somebody that does have some credit challenges, talking to somebody like myself that can either help them with their credit repair or get them to a credit repair specialist so that we can get them on the path to home ownership.
How about a self-employed person? Can they buy homes?
There's a lot of news out there that's difficult, and really there are some difficulties, but they don't.
Why is that? There's a lot of us out there. I'm one of them. Why is that?
It is just with the COVID crisis, businesses not being as strong and having to provide tax returns and other things. The income isn't necessarily as stable. But there are many programs that for self-employed people who have the benefit of writing off more expenses on their taxes and reducing their taxable income. There are programs that, such as bank statement programs, that can show cash flow in their business that we can help them get financed.
Again, that phone number is 602-510-6297. It's Bradley Tate, mortgagelender.com. He does free consultations and he works statewide. Is it hard to get pre-qualified so that, someone can, maybe they want to buy a house that they want that's a little bit too much money for them?
No, it is not difficult at all. And if a person is prepared with just a few documents, I generally can help them get pre-qualified in less than an hour.
So how does that happen? What are the steps that you take?
I take an application, and if you take an application with me, it might take 10 minutes. If I send them to my online link to the application, because they know the information better, they're probably better typers, they can do it in 5. Once I've got that information, I pull their credit, I get some income documentation, some asset documentation. I run the numbers and get them pre-qualified, and they're out shopping.
What about first-time home lenders, home buyers, I mean?
They are my favorite. For me, I love to educate people. First-time home buyers ask a lot of questions. It makes them more involved, more buy-in to what they're about to do. And first-time home buyers are easy. As we discussed, there's the down payment assistance programs, other programs with low down payments that can help them become homeowners and stop renting.
What are some of the questions that they ask?
Well, they're going to ask things like, what does my income need to be? What challenges are there in the credit? What's the process like? How long does it take? Many questions like that.
Right now what I know is that because there's so many people out there giving bids on homes, right? So you might find a house and you say, okay, yeah, we want it, and you put it down a bid, and guess what? It's gone, right? So when they're looking, honestly, as you take them around, what is the process? What do you think? They should have at least 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, or what's the deal now right now?
Well, the best idea is to be pre-qualified. Know what your pre-qualification price point is. Get all the documentation in so that when you go out, you give the best and strongest offer to your seller so that your realtor can get that offer in. Also, a great thing to do is to actually write a letter for the seller to understand why it would be better for them to choose you over the multiple other offers that they're going to get in the first few days of that.
Wow, you see a tip here on Networking Arizona you never thought. You just might, if you write a little note to them, they might take you above anyone else. That's kind of personalized. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Now, again, you could call him direct. He does free consultations, and he works statewide. That phone number is 602-510-6297. His website is bradleytatemortgagelender.com. Can they go online and actually go on your website, and can they get a quote there, or how does that work?
The best way, yes, they can go on, and it'll start out by asking just a couple of questions. Then they'll get some background information on me, and they can apply right online from there. Once they complete that online application, I am notified the instant they hit finish. I can call them, get authorization to pull credit, and I can start that pre-qualification right there.
How long does it take to close a loan?
It really depends on, and that's a great question. As a mortgage broker, which is what makes me so happy to work for Nexa, I have the choice of more than 50 lenders that I can take that loan to, different underwriters, that process. It allows me to work with companies that can underwrite, process, and get the whole process done, the whole transaction done, sometimes in as little as 21 days, where many major banks and other mortgage bankers are taking 30 to 45 days to close.
So is it better to work with a mortgage broker or a banker?
Well, having been on both sides of it, and now that I am with a mortgage broker, I really feel it's best for the borrower to be using a mortgage broker. Again, lower fees, many times lower rates. I've got 50 lenders that are competing for my business to get that borrower the lowest rate, where a mortgage banker only has one. Mm-hmm. I have less overhead. I'm a one-person shop. I got my processor and a couple of the people that might be helping out. I'm not having to pay for different departments of different companies to keep people hired. I always want people working, but I don't necessarily want my borrower to have to pay more to be able to keep all of them in business.
Well, I'll tell you something. It is a beautiful weekend. It's going to be gorgeous out there. It is a good time to be buying houses. We have a lot of investors that listen. Are you helping a lot of people that are out of state and that are looking to buy here?
Oh, yes, investor loans. In fact, there are some investor loans that are so easy for them to get. Reduced documentation. If you're an experienced investor and bought numerous properties, chances are that underwriting process for most normal everyday bankers can get a little arduous. But with me, I've got programs that make it very simple to be able to get into a property. So long as it cash flows, as long as that rent pays for the mortgage payment, we can get that financed and keep you growing your business.
Well, I'll tell you something. There's many reasons why right now to definitely get into buying a house. It's the number one way to start making money too, as well, and to having the American way of life. Check him out. It is Bradley Tate, mortgagelender.com, 602-510-6297.